This is Mayor Oliver Gilbert, and we've gone virtual. Now, while we're staying at home, I wanted to make sure that the activities that we enjoy together as a community could be brought to you online. Join me for Mental Health Moments with Dr. Tasha. Let's talk.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Tasha, and I specialize in drive-by therapy, which you will see what that actually looks like. Right now, tonight, as you are tuning in, call somebody, get online, share it, however it looks on your either screen, on your phone, or your computer, and let them know that they can actually let us know by asking questions, and I'll answer them right now. That's what making a drive-by is with drive-by therapy. Okay, so I'm going to answer a few questions that you have, but before they come in, I'm going to tell you a few things that come to mind with what I know is going on during this time of quarantining. Okay, so let's start with some calming techniques between the families, the children, the adults, right? Because everybody is what three things right now: irritated, frustrated, and annoyed. And what's crazy is at the smallest things. Why is that? Because we've been around each other way too long. We've never been around each other this long. So I want to first tell you that it's okay. Nothing's wrong with you. Everybody is feeling this level of frustration. In fact, that is probably one of the biggest things that come into my office is what do I do? So let's start with something that I like to do. Even I work with addicts and alcoholics in a rehab facility, and we do the Serenity Prayer. What is that? To accept the things we cannot change. That's literally what it starts with. So even getting to the point of knowing that you can't control everything. I know it's hard, especially for those that plan everything. This is killing us, right? But right now, we can't change it. The kids are home. You're working from home. You've never had this many emails. You have Zoom on, what is it, speed dial? I mean, it's crazy. And it's kind of, you might be over it. It's been a month. We're going into the fifth kind of week or sixth week of this quarantine business, and you're probably over it. So, how do we act towards each other? How do we communicate with each other? Let me tell you a few things that I think we can do to calm ourselves, kind of anger management. Number one, acknowledge that you're a little salty, both parents and kids. So, really, you're a little salty. Something right now is bothering you. And if you don't kind of give yourself some space, you might blow. Then you're going to say to your family, can you guys give me 10 minutes? I'm going to go for a walk. Can you guys, yes, kids, you can even say this if you get permission, obviously, from your parents. I'm going to go sit by a tree. I'm going to go sit by the picnic table. I am going to listen to my music. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, Mom. Can you just give me 20 minutes? I'm just feeling overwhelmed. We can really start to use this emotional language. It works. Same for spouses, which I know some of you guys went from we love each other to are you still here? Like, are you really still living here? Yes. Right now, you are. We're doing this together. And yes, you saw them in the morning and it's evening, and we're gonna do it all over again tomorrow. So you can even tell your spouse, hey, I'm actually getting tired, and is it possible that you can give me a little an hour, and you always reassure them whenever you need space. You first say, I need space, and then you reassure them and say, but I'm coming back in 10 minutes. But I would like to talk about it in an hour. Does that make sense? Kind of creating the space is what's healthy in the relationship as well as in the household. Let's talk about something else. Calming techniques. Affirmations. Okay, so yes, sometimes it feels a little cheesy, right? To say different things like I am strong and I am worthy and I am smart and I'm going to get through this and all these different things. But like it actually calms you down. It can actually ground you in a way where you don't have to keep talking to yourself negatively. And we know how well we do that. Negative self talk does not help. So we have to learn how to talk to ourselves positively. Now I know you could be saying, Dr. Tasha, it's not that easy. I know. That's why we're having this conversation. This is why Mayor Oliver wanted me to talk to you. He's aware that it's hard. This is actually hard. So how do we find other ways to calm down? I'm glad you asked. Gratitude. Let me tell you why I use the word gratitude. Because in the craziest way, even for those who have even lost their job, I remember someone said, I wish I had a job to lose. Oh, wow. There's some people that were unemployed even when they started this. Some people said, right, because some of us are getting tired of cleaning our house. Then there's people in the world that are like, I wish I had a house to clean. Mm-hmm. It really happens. Or some of us are tired of our kids. And then you talk to the barren mother or the barren couple that is not able to have kids. And they said, we wish we were able to have children that could get on our nerves right now. Do you get what I'm saying? It's almost like putting things into perspective in a way of finding ways to be grateful, even when it's hard because you're overwhelmed, you're irritated, you're annoyed, and you're frustrated. I want to normalize that. I get it. But the point is, you're finding different things that probably people wish they had your problems. I know that sounds interesting, but it is really is true. Sometimes you feel like you're losing your mind, but you don't have to lose your mind just because you're losing your money. Do you understand that? You can literally start to discipline yourself really every day, to find ways to speak positively into your life, almost in a way of having faith. Some of us have faith and some of us don't. Maybe we're starting to get faith right now. Maybe some of us are starting to lose faith right now. This is actually happening because we're angry at God, right? It's possible that we know someone that's affected or infected, my apologies, and affected by the coronavirus and infected. Actually, it definitely is both. And so what do? Even the folks that are infected, and you're listening to me right now, I want you to not feel that you'll be forever ostracized in the community. Take care of yourself in the 14 days and come right back. You know what I mean? And those who know that folks that have had COVID-19, find ways to not judge, right? And love them the same. Don't ostracize them as well. Now, breathing techniques. Okay, so this is interesting. I like to do this breathing technique that is kind of, I know in your mind, you're like, you don't know what's going on in my house. You think I'm going to breathe and it's going to be better? No, I don't think that. I know that. This actually is part of what anger management is. Anybody ever been to anger management classes? It's a real thing. Now, is it just inhale, exhale? Maybe for some people, not for me. I have to do something where it's kind of an active approach to deep breathing. So you breathe inhale. Everybody do this. If it's 20 people watching or if it's 200 folks watching, let's try this. So I want you to inhale for 4. And then I want you to hold it. And then I want you to exhale for 4. Now, I don't want you to just exhale like this, being all wimpy. No, we're not going to be wimpy today. We're going to be intentional. This is you saying to yourself, I am going to intentionally calm myself down because I'm making myself crazy. This can actually happen. So we're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. We're going to hold it for 4 seconds. And then we're going to breathe out for 4 seconds. You ready for that? Let's go. You can do this as many times if you need to, right? Because sometimes when we're yelling or cursing, we're doing the same thing that that exhale just did. But we need some type of release, right? It's kind of in a weird way. Anger serves us. It makes us feel better. But we got to find like not these maladaptive ways, but adaptive ways. Not bad ways to cope, but good ways to cope. And literally it can be, oh my gosh, I need to get it out. Not by fighting, not by throwing hands, by literally finding ways to release. Maybe it is to do a sit up. Maybe it is to do a burpee. Yes, 40-year-old folks can still do burpees. It really is a thing. But it's the jumping jack and you go down to the push up. If you're a person that needs to be in your body, I mean, literally, somebody who likes to fight, initiating or defending, sometimes say, I don't initiate fights. I just, I have to just defend my ground. Either way it goes, you fight. So you already lost control once you're fighting. Now, if we could find ways to get into our body and release it physically, then now we're on to something. And you'll actually be proud of yourself. It's called self-control. Okay. But then there's another thing I like to do in addition to breathing, is toggling. Everybody say toggling? Okay, toggling. When it comes to toggling, this is what's cool. You can actually put everybody in a circle. We can do the grandma, the niece, the 5-year-old. I think a 5-year-old could do it. Up until it doesn't matter, to 95. And literally you're gonna sit in a circle, kind of like at the it could be at the family table, it could be outside by the pool if you got a pool, it could be on the couch. And it's kind of having a structured kind of activity where everybody's just gonna calm down, but it's gonna be fun. And we're gonna stop being anxious or depressed in these 10 minutes, and we're gonna find ways to find other ways where our minds to go. So let me tell you how this works. Toggling works where you think of a color and then you go around and everybody has to think of something with that color. And you keep going until really however many laps can go with that one color. And then you see, then you change the color. So let's see. Obviously it's just me, but I'm going to be 1,000 people right now, right? So I pick yellow. And then my cousin over here is like school bus. And then grandma says banana. And then dad says, what else is yellow? Oh my goodness. Big bird. And then the baby says a booger. Yeah, some of them come out yellow. And then we go to the next one. And then someone says black. And then I've heard people say people. And then you can say a wallet, a shirt, right? The dots on a ladybug. There's no right answer. The point is we're going to refocus whatever we got going on in here, right? Because we don't have to lose our minds during this quarantine time. And we're going to do this thing called toggling. And it's actually kind of fun. You could try it. It's kind of a gamey game night and just see who can get it right. You can even do it as adults. Remember, it's not just for kids. It could be between you, between spouse and just see how many colors can we get to without thinking too long, you know? Let's think of something else. Oh, this has to happen in households. You ready? Thank yous and sorries. That's right. So some things that we used to take for granted, think about it, and we're just like, okay, right? Somebody brings us something to drink, and we don't really say much. It's not really good that we do this, but we kind of got used to it, not speaking, not saying thank you. But now I want you to say thank you. It literally brings this positivity into your home. Be the thermostat in your home, right? Don't make it frigid. Try to make it warm. We're trying to be more warm to each other, right? Because you need them to be warm towards you. So the idea of saying thank you, and then these two words, which some people don't like, my folks that are proud, super duper proud, is I'm sorry. You got that? These words, it's like some folks choke on it on the way up. But like literally, I'm sorry. And what does this mean? This could be between spouses. It could be, really, I just forgive you and I don't want to fight anymore. I'm sorry. Right. And it's I forgive you and then we're done. And so, or it could be to your child. I'm sorry, mom's really stressed out. And then the kid will feel acknowledged, like, I knew I didn't need to be cussed out right then. I didn't even do anything. I actually washed the dishes when she said so, right? But when we're stressed out, we do things and we displace our anger. We talk about that in anger management all the time. Literally, we displace anger. That means you're mad at one thing, but you take it out on someone else, okay? Okay, let's go to another thing about how to discuss the pandemic with our child, okay? And of course, anybody that's probably in high school, maybe 14 to 18, they pretty much can watch the news and see what's going on. They can look on their social media and see what's going on. But for those that are younger, that like the word pandemic has never been used before and they didn't learn that in school, now this is what you're going to say. Number one, I said to young people, and I'm talking about super young, I would say, remember how you got chicken pox in the third grade? And remember how I told you not to scratch it, right? Or to not to touch, other people after you scratch, and just try your best not to. Remember that? It's because it's contagious. And so you're explaining to them what something when a something is contagious, which could be like chickenpox. So you're saying to them, we're going to make sure that we don't give anybody what we have or we don't get what they have. And so this is why we're wearing masks, right? Because what is out here in the world is contagious. Hopefully that would be kind of okay for the young folks, I'm thinking. Now, let's see another thing. Uh, Also asking for order and cleanliness in your home because you're like, whoa, dad, we've never had to wash our hands this much because you're freaking out and so the kids are freaking out, right? And so it doesn't make sense. And again, you're saying the coolest thing about it is with this virus, if we stay clean, keep the house clean, then we're hopefully kind of like more likely to not get it in this house. So the idea of bringing order to your home and having a clean home becomes the norm. Now, hopefully this lasts for the rest of the year and the rest of your life. But right now, this could be your reason for saying, yeah, you're going to do the laundry today. And yes, we're going to learn how to wash these dishes today, even though you're 7. Okay. Another thing is normalizing, how can I say this? Just what that everybody is going to be home. So it seems weird, but everybody's doing this. So I would not want you to actually turn on the news with kids, but the idea is if you could show them a map, right? There's Google. This could be a teaching moment, and show them in the map that, like, China was this way, Italy was this way. Now we can find where that is. I got a little globe back there, or a little map back there. And then you could say Canada, and then these are the different states that are affected. And in the way of teaching, right? And the idea of them learning, but making it normal. So it's not just that our home is doing this, it's that the neighborhood's doing this, it's that our state is doing this, and that our nation is doing this. And making it normal that cabin fever is a real thing. This is something that it's even been a movie before, right? It means staying inside way too long. You can even explain that definition. And so this is the last thing I wanted you to be able to talk to with your kids, parents that are struggling with what and how, is budgeting. Now, this is a word we don't talk about as much in our community, right? But budgeting helps build wealth. Now, right now, this might not be the time to become the millionaire. However, this could be the time that your children learn about savings, right? You can actually make the grocery store run to be a learning moment. Like, we have $25 and we got to get dinner for 4 days. What are we going to do? Now, you can sit down and actually do a little grocery list and figure out how we're going to stretch the rice and stretch the chicken, right? And that's what we're going to do. And we're going to say, wow, if this rice is $4.99, I don't know what rice is that, but that's some good rice. And this chicken, right, is $6.18. And then we have this. How much more do we have left? Now we're doing a word problem in math. The teachers would be proud, right? And so we're subtracting, we're adding, we're figuring out what we have left, and you can actually teach them how to budget. One thing I've learned, and one thing that we can learn better in our community is how to save money, right? Not always how to spend it, or always acknowledging when we see people that have new things. This is kind of the reason why we spend it, because we kind of like the acknowledgement of when people see us with new things. But how cool would it be if they could see people, as well as our families or our children, could see that we understand what delayed gratification is. Do you understand what I mean by delayed gratification? This means that it's not a microwave society, and that it's going to be something that we're going to sacrifice right now, save right now, right, and store up, right? Kind of like hibernating right now, literally, until we're ready to come out so that we have money later, or that we have money for the trip that you want to do in December. And it actually could be a learning moment for all ages, about savings, even some adults that have been online shopping more than they need to be. I mean, truly, Amazon has not stopped yet. And so, and that comes into the idea of, there was another question that I was asked is, how do we recognize if our mental health is okay? And so I want to bring that into the shopping addiction. That's right. And yeah, we're talking about addictions, and the eating or food addiction. We obviously have drug and alcohol, which is a whole nother thing, right? We have gambling addiction, which is interesting because you're not able to go to the casino to get that rent paid the way you used to. And so what are we doing now? Possibly freaking out. But this could affect your anxiety and your depression. This really is happening right now. We already talked about drinking. Exercise addiction, which always when I say that, it's just like, oh, I wish that was my addiction, that I exercise too much. However, people that have this type of addiction where they're always so conscious about their body image is that they also are self-conscious and they don't really value things more than actually what's skin deep. Okay. And chaos. Oh, this is big. Sometimes in our community, we are attracted to chaos. So let me break this down. That sounds crazy, right? But it really happens. As a therapist, I see this all the time. Meaning there's peace in your home. You got that? And somebody got to turn up. Why? We were all doing just fine. But you know why? Because they are attracted to actually chaos. So not only are they looking forward to chaos, that they actually create it. It's so unconscious, sometimes because the house is normally chaotic, that they actually function better when it's louder, right? This is a whole thing that we could talk about at another time, which comes with trauma and unresolved things. But we can actually change the norm. That's the point, right? We don't have to stay the way we always have been. If we've always struggled with anger, we don't have to stay there. If we've always struggled with anxiety or depression, we don't have to stay there each day. Today we could get better, right? Actually, some of us can come out of this better than we started. I actually believe in that. So just really quick, when it comes to those addictions that I said, if you found yourself drinking more, adults, and if teenagers are drinking, we got a whole nother conversation. Okay. Not that you're totally in trouble, but maybe you want to let Dr. Tasha know what you're struggling with, that's the only way to go in terms of your outlet. But for adults that are drinking more or smoking more, truly, 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 I want you to work on acknowledging why it is, right? And so then focusing on the mental health part versus this temporary kind of fix, and work on it being less excessive, right? Some things that are done kind of in moderation, nobody's judging that. It's the excessive part that actually messes you up and could get you to a place of not functioning well. Okay. Let's see another one. How to coexist while we're frustrated, which I kind of talked about, which is the boundary I talked about earlier. Introverts versus extroverts. This is huge, right? So acknowledging, wow, my child is always in the room. Is your child an introvert or an extrovert? Even introverts at this point, don't always say to yourself, that's just how they are. You can't bother them. They always doing their work and they don't want to be bothered. However, even introverts want some type of interaction. So I want to encourage you, parents, to even engage with your children that do always go to their room, okay? Or that are always quiet, right? There's sometimes reasons why we're drawn. It doesn't always mean a bad thing, but it may mean that because everybody made them that kid in the house, that no one's really interacting with them. And then that's a problem. Okay, that makes sense. And then for extroverts, for those who are struggling because they need more people to talk to and more people to interact with and malls and the highway, right? It's crazy. Is anybody missing traffic? I know I'm not, but I can imagine some people are like missing driving. Who would ever say we could miss being on 95? But I guess at this point, or the turnpike. Either way it goes, it's like the extroverts are like struggling to get out of the house. So for you, you have to acknowledge that and maybe call somebody. So this sounds crazy that I'm saying this, but let me tell you about the phone. The phone is not just to text. And do I have to say any more about that? There's a little icon on the phone. You could actually like hit the phone and call the friend that you haven't talked to, right? Call the sister that's been living in Jersey that really might be freaking out right now. Call the I don't know. Call anybody. Just have a conversation. And you know what? Don't talk about the coronavirus for the entire time. And don't start diagnosing each other. You know how we doing. Right now we get a little itch in the throat and we go straight to, oh, you got that? Right? And so try your best every 10 minutes when you're on the phone with whomever. Give it 10 minutes and then talk about something else. Find other things to do, extroverts that like to talk and like to interact. Call folks. There's nothing wrong with that. People would love to hear from you. Because like so many people are bored right now. Okay, so we talked about coexisting. Couples. Here we go. Coexisting. Here we go. So while you are coexisting, we're going to work on being our best selves. Did you get that? Being our best selves. Like, this is something that we do all the time at work. So we go to work and we give everybody our 100%. Then we come home and give the crumbs. Am I right or wrong? We just come home and give crumbs. I mean, why does the household get crumbs? But now we're not going to work. Some of us are not going to work. So there's no kind of like change. So now you can actually give your household, interesting enough, your sales 100%, right? So folks get on your nerves at work and you're like, oh, okay, no problem. But folks get on your nerves at home and you're like, who you talking who you talking to? Oh, oh, you forgot what this is? Right. But somehow we lost. We lost the smile. All I'm saying is get it back. Get back the warmth. We're going to get to this warmth. We are going to do this. Hopefully we don't have but like maybe one more month of this. But I know the kids are out of school, so parents, you even got a whole summer, which I can only imagine. Um, we may have to go somewhere in my Miami Gardens and pray. Just all pray for the parents. We may have to do that eventually once we could touch and hold hands and agree. Okay. Let's go to depression and anxiety. Yeah, let's go to depression and anxiety. And this is huge. I know. In our culture, sometimes we don't acknowledge anxiety or depression, and nobody needs medication because we're all fine. I know. We're all so fine. But we're not. Okay? This is the point of this. We're not fine. I'm giving permission to say I'm not fine. And it's okay. We don't have to be fine. We say it all the time. How you doing? I'm fine. No, you're not. All I'm saying is acknowledge it out loud, figure out different techniques. That's why I'm here to calm it down, ground yourself, give the boundary, give yourself the space, right? Not react. You got that? Not react. That's a real thing. To not react is self-control. Mr. Dante, I can hear you. It's okay. It's okay. We're back to mute. The rest of the world is back to mute. Okay, so here we go. Anxiety. What is anxiety, Dr. Tasha? When someone is having racing thoughts. Okay, so what are those racing thoughts? Most times they're racing thoughts of the future, right? The fear of the future, the fear of the unknown, the fear of death. This is a thing, right? So For those that have someone that's already infected, you have a fear of death. There's also for those that are by themselves, or even the idea of getting this, it's like, I'm kind of have a fear of dying alone. This is a thing right now. This makes sense. You're racing thoughts. This is the anxieties, right? Your anxieties are just running rampant, and I want to acknowledge them, but we have to see, like, are they delusions or are they a sense of reality, right? So are you like catastrophizing? What is catastrophizing, Dr. Tasha? You using big words. It's too late for all that. I'm talking about the Tasmanian devil, right? Like, literally, one thing goes wrong and then everything went wrong. So no, that's not true. Right now, I'm not sure if we're going to work next week. Right now, I'm not sure if I have a job next week. But today, I have a job. But don't go to, I don't know if I'm not going to work, to, oh my God, what if I don't work? And then to, what if I get evicted because I can't pay the rent? To, who am I going to stay with? You know, I don't talk to nobody for real around here. To, oh my God, where I never had friends or family that understood me. Like, all of this happens from the possibility of losing a job. That's called catastrophizing. We do it all the time, sometimes because our fears just run rampant. That makes sense? Okay. So anxiety, worrying about the future, worrying about the unknown, sometimes worrying about about death. Difficulty concentrating. So kids, if you're struggling with concentrating or focusing, give yourself a little break, right? So every hour, you can work for 45 minutes, from like 9 to 3, like the school hour, the school time. You can work from, 9 to 9:45. Give yourself a 15-minute break. Don't go and get Doritos each time, right? Because then we're going to be talking about obesity in 2 months. But go and get, I don't know, a glass of water. Go and sit down somewhere. Go and, I don't know, ask questions, see if mom would let you watch TV for 10 minutes, right? Or dad will let you watch TV for minutes. But give yourself a little break. Get your brain together. Anybody that has ADD, we know how it is. Like, you don't even want to know. Sometimes I just got to take a little break for me to focus again. Parents, understand that, right? Your teachers have been doing this, but you didn't know. So having them work straight is impossible for anybody, any kid from 0 to 18. So having difficulty focusing could sometimes be anxiety coming out. And it's okay. Let's see another one. I would say, I kind of talked about that. Like, a lot of people that are anxious right now have a fear of their own health or their loved one's health. And that's normal. Let's talk about depression, because we got to be done in a few minutes, okay? And let's talk about depression. So those who are struggling with depression right now, a lot of people that are struggling with depression, is because your plans have been postponed. Now, I wish I could give each and every one of you a hug. Every senior, right? Not just seniors. Every fifth grader that wanted to have their fifth grade graduation. Every eighth grader, right? Every person that's been saving their money to go on that one summer vacation, or that person that's celebrating that milestone birthday. It could be 10 or 21 or 50 or 100. I couldn't imagine right now, right? Because you're not able to be celebrated. You're not able to do anything. However, once again, we're going to go back to gratitude. Somebody wished they were celebrating their 50th birthday, right? You just happen to be celebrating with your one cupcake and your 4 folks at the house. And it's okay. We're going to do 51 better. And same for the 10-year-old. I get it. Maybe you can call your friends and do the Zoom thing. It's kind of cool right now, right? And everybody cheers to orange juice or Coca-Cola. And then we say nice things about each other, praising each other, encouraging each other. And so this is actually breeding depression, because in your mind is, this is so bad because my life is over because. So loss of plans, weddings, I can only imagine. It's no joke. Even funerals, right? For those that have or have not died of corona, we can't even celebrate the life of those that died. We already talked about addiction and how that breeds depression, and helplessness, right? Just the idea of feeling helpless, because we, again, learning how to not control everything is going to be the work. Learning how to just release. I mean, literally accepting the things I cannot change. That is the serenity prayer. Learning how to accept the things I cannot change. So you feel helpless, but you're not. That's what depression does. And as I said to a lot of people that have asked me about simple things about getting through depression, get up out of the bed, sit up out of the bed, make your bed, take a shower, get yourself dressed, right? Because we know we've been wearing the same clothes, right? Because we're not going outside. But at the end of the day, do something that you used to do all the time and take pride in your appearance to feel good about yourself. to start your day. Obviously, these are very simple tips about depression and anxiety and the mental health changes that are going on right now. But I appreciate you listening. Thank you, Mayor Oliver, for this time. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's session. Join us every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook Live for a mental health moment with Dr. Tasha. If you want to view the session again, visit cmgengage.com/virtual. I'll see you next week.
Darling, please pray for me. Oh, pray.